I'm in my apartment, freezing cold as I go get another blanket. I'm in college, and I just started living in my apartment without a roommate. My roommate had to move out and kind of left me on my own, so here I am. Now, I could kind of almost afford this apartment when I was living with a roommate, but now by myself, I really can't afford this place. I didn't pay the heating bill. I haven't for a while, and they finally turned it off. So it's cold. Now, it's not like I don't have any money. Just last week, some friends of mine said, "Hey, Derek, let's go out to the comedy club. Let's get a couple of drinks. It'll be fun." So I did that, and I left my heating bill unpaid. It sucks, but I know that you can always put on more clothes, and I can always put on more blankets. A couple weeks later, my boss's boss at the bank, this is the person who runs all of the banks in the area, comes to our branch and tells us we have to start wearing ties. We have to start wearing neckties. We're not professional enough. So one strategy that I may have implemented would be to go buy a couple, maybe 3 new ties. They don't have to be high end, but they could be 3 universal, pretty good ties. Instead, I opt to go get several ties from a thrift store. I don't know anything about ties, so some of them are too short. They're all very well worn. They're outdated. They don't look good at all. So I went with the buy a lot of crappy tie strategies. Now a few months later, I wake up on my couch in my clothes. It's dark outside and I struggle. I try to get my eyes adjusted so I can see the VCR, so I can see what time it is. It says it's 8:15. Now I'm very confused because I had no idea why did I go to sleep last night in my living room, and why did I go to sleep in my clothes, and why is it so dark out at 8:15? It doesn't make sense. I have a class at 9, and I'm not even sure if I did my homework last night for this class. Then in a flash, it hits me. It's not 8:15 the next morning. It's 8:15 tonight. I completely slept through my shift, and I woke up in the evening. Needless to say, I got in a lot of trouble for that. I, I had too much going on. I had too many hours at work. I had too many classes that I was trying to do. I ended up doing all-nighters. A couple of times I would do 2 all-nighters in a row. Even when I did sleep, it was from 2 in the morning until 6 or 7 in the morning. Just not enough sleep. In all 3 of these cases, I was depriving myself. In some cases, like the heat, I was not buying things that I needed, even though I had money. Kind of. But I would spend money in areas that weren't fulfilling my needs, that were wants instead. In some cases, like the ties, I made do. I got by with something. But it wasn't really a frugal intention. This wasn't intentional in the sense that I was trying to live a frugal lifestyle. This is going to be good enough. Or more of a miser mentality. And in the last case, I stretched myself too thin. I was far too busy. I couldn't take care of myself. Deprivation is a big problem. It's stressful and it's no way to find happiness. Find out more about deprivation right after this. Hello, thanks for joining me. This is Derek Hagan. I'm a financial therapist, writer, and speaker, and I'm coming to you with another Money Health presentation. This week we're going to talk about deprivation. So deprivation, what it really means is you're deprived if you're not fulfilling your needs. Meaning you've got a certain set of needs, and there's 6 basic needs that every human has. And these are belonging, so you need to belong to some group. Think of it like a tribe. You need to be a part of that circle. Autonomy means we need to be free to make our own choices in life. Safety and security. This is the bottom of Maslow's pyramid of needs, if you're familiar with that. It's often misinterpreted, but if you're not safe and secure, you can't really do much else with your life. And that's more than just survival, safety and security. This needs to be safety and security in all areas of your life. Self-expression means you need to be heard. You have something to say and you need to be heard. Connection. So instead of being a part of a tribe, so in addition to being a part of a group, you need to have interpersonal relationships. We're social creatures. and purpose and significance. We have to feel like our lives matter. Now, there's a lot of needs underneath these, sub-needs, if you will. And there are also needs that are related to what's important to us. Value-based needs, I call those. But effectively, when your needs aren't being met, that's deprivation. And this is why budgeting doesn't work with so many people, because they feel like they're being deprived. I have this money, and I'm not allowed to spend it. I'm budgeted, and I'm handcuffed, right? I don't have autonomy to spend money the way that I want to. I can't spend money on things that are important to me. So not getting your needs met is deprivation, and it goes up with the number of needs that aren't being met, or severity of your needs that aren't being met. The more needs that go unmet, the more you're going to feel deprived. And there's no correlation here with income. Not really with deprivation. Now, money can make your life easier if you are at the bottom of the income distribution. Making more money can help. But once you get out of that basic low level, but aside from absolute poverty, there's no correlation between income and happiness, and there's no correlation between income and whether or not you're going to be deprived. Now, this may sound counterintuitive to you, because how can you not meet your needs? How can you let your heating bill go unpaid, for example? Or how can you buy cheap old ties if you got enough money? Well, think of Ebenezer Scrooge. Plenty of money. Yet he would go without heat. Right? He would go without good clothes. So you can still deprive yourself even when you have a good income. Income is not a correlation. It's not really correlated with whether or not you're going to be deprived. Now, there's three ways to think about being deprived. The first one we're going to talk about here is going without. Going without is what I did with my heating bill. There was something that I needed, and that's heat, but I didn't buy that. So this could be like I did with the heater. This could be people you've heard about who only take their pill every other day, their medicine, or they cut their pills in half so they can take it every day, but they're only taking half doses. This is going without. There's a gap between the things that you need and the way you're using your money. And the second one is getting by. But getting by is what I did when I bought the cheap ties. It was good enough, I kind of thought. Now, this is not the same thing as living frugally. Frugality is intentionally living a life of less, living a life of frugality, living a life that's simple. That's intention. Getting by is trying to find something that's good enough so you can save some money later for something else. A good example is if you have some dress shoes and they're out of shape, they're worn out, you can get them fixed at a shoe repair place. That's an example of being frugal. Instead of buying new shoes, I can just fix these shoes. That's an intentional decision. But buying the wrong color in a size that's kind of maybe too small or too big, only because it was on sale, that's getting by. And finally, the risk of deprivation goes up with how busy you are. This is overdoing it. This is me when I was working too much and had too many classes and wanted a social life. I didn't have enough time to take care of myself first. When you're on an airplane, there's a reason they tell you to put the face mask on yourself first before you help others. There's an old saying that you have to take care of yourself first because you can't pour out of an empty cup. You have to fill yourself up first. And now, it's almost like a positive feedback loop, a death spiral, if you will. The more you feel deprived, the more that just becomes normal. It's just a part of what life is. It starts to feel like that's normal. You might even be surprised by hearing other people don't feel these feelings. And because it's normal, it just becomes a part of your life, and you don't do anything to fix it, which leads to more deprivation, which makes it feel more normal, which makes it part of your life, and you don't fix it, and more deprivation comes, and on and on and on and on it goes. So the antidote to this is to take care of yourself first. Figure out what is important to you. Make sure you're spending money in areas that energize you and fill you up first. Then go help other people. Fill yourself up first and then use your money for entertainment. Make sure you get those needs met first. Make sure you're using your money in areas that energize you, including your basic needs. That'll give you a healthy relationship with money, and that's good money health.